This is class 10th computer application subject and I am Roselyn. Chapter 1 Object Oriented Programming. Before going to see object oriented programming, let's see what is procedure oriented programming. Programming using high level languages such as BASIC, COBOL, Fortran and C are commonly known as procedure oriented programming or POP. The procedure-oriented programming approach allows the users to develop their logic by applying a number of functions to enable the program productivity. So we are writing the definition of procedure-oriented programming like this. In procedure-oriented programming system, the emphasis is on functions rather than data items. So now we are going to see a sample flow diagram that shows the procedure of procedure-oriented programming approach. In procedure-oriented programming system, many instructions are written to carry out any task. So these instructions are grouped together to form the functions. We concentrate more functions rather than data items to develop the logical approach. When we deal with a program containing many functions, the important data items are applied globally to be used by all the functions, whereas function may contain its own local data to deal with logical situations. See, here the main function that consists of many instructions. These instructions are grouped together and form many functions. Okay, to develop a main program, we need more instructions, and these instructions are grouped together and form functions. So the group of functions combine together and form the main program in procedure-oriented programming. Now we are going to see some characteristics of procedure-oriented programming. Number 1, emphasis is on functions rather than data items. Number 2, functions share global data. Number 3, data values can keep floating from one function to another. We are able to use the data values in one function, and the same value we are able to use in some other functions also. Here we use the top-down approach of programming. Next is object-oriented programming. It is otherwise called as OOP. The definition of object-oriented programming is: object-oriented programming is a modular approach which allows the data to be applied within stipulated program area. It also provides the reusability feature to develop productive logic, which means to give emphasis on data. See, in procedure-oriented programming, most of the functions that share global data and data move freely around the system from function to function. In contrast of this, object-oriented programming does not allow the data to flow freely from function to function and procedure to procedure. So this is the main difference between procedure-oriented programming and this object-oriented programming. In this system, in object-oriented programming system, the complete problem is decomposed into a number of entities called objects. The data of an object can be accessed through function associated with that object. But in procedure-oriented programming, it can share the data globally between all the functions. But in the case of object-oriented programming, The data of the object can be accessed through functions that is associated with that object only. However, function of an object can access the function of other object. Okay, so this is the main differences between the object oriented programming and procedure oriented programming. um, the languages uh, under this object oriented programming is C++, Java, Smalltalk, FL, etc. Okay. Already I told you that the data of an object can be accessed through functions associated with that object. See here the object A, object B, and object C. So the data of this object A can be accessed through the function associated with this object A. And here the object B, the data of the object can be accessed function associated with the object B. Like this, the data of an object can be accessed through the function associated with the object C. However, see these two arrows, the function of the object can access the function of the other object. This function can access the function of this object A, and the function of the object C is able to access the object A. Okay. Now we are going to see some features of object-oriented programming. It gives stress on the data items rather than functions. But in procedure-oriented programming, it gives stress on functions. Number 2, it makes the complete program or any problems associated with it simpler by dividing it into number of objects, not functions. It is dividing it into number of objects. The third point is the object can be used as a bridge to have data flow from one object to another. Number 4, we can easily modify the data without any change in the function. There is no need to change any function to modify the data. Okay, these are the main features of object-oriented programming. Now we are going to see some basic elements of object-oriented programming. The basic element of object-oriented programming is given below, or it is otherwise called as the principles of object-oriented programming. Number 1, object. Number 2, classes. Number 3, data abstraction. Number 4, encapsulation. Number 5, data hiding. Number 6, inheritance. Number 7, polymorphism. Number 8, dynamic binding. First element of object-oriented programming language is object. An object is a unique entity which contains data and functions, that is characteristics and behavior, together in an object-oriented programming language. So an object means an object contains some characteristics and behaviors. So we are going to see some real world objects can possess some following characteristics. Let us consider the real world objects which are visible before us. An object in the real world can possess some characteristics. That is, it is visible. Object is always visible. If something is visible, we will call it as an object. And it can be defined and described easily. We are able to define an object and we are able to describe the object very easily. And third, it can be put into thought and action. Okay, these are the common characteristics of a real world object. For example, consider an object table. It has the following characteristics. It has 4 legs. Okay, the table contains 4 legs and it has a plain top. It has the following behaviors. It is used to keep glasses, etc. It is used to keep books, etc. Okay, these are some of the behaviors of the real world object table. Example number 2, potato. It is also an object. We are considering the characteristics like this. It is brown in color. Potatoes are brown in color. It is spherical or oval in shape. Okay. So these are the shape is also a character. Its color is also a characteristics. Okay. Then what are the behaviors of this potato? The number 1, it is used to make vegetables. Okay. Number 2, it is used to make chips, etc. Second basic element of object-oriented programming is class. What is class? Class is a group of similar type of objects which possesses some attributes and behavior. The object and the class are the two basic principles of object-oriented programming. They can be considered as the two sides of the coin. This class and the objects are considered as the two sides of a coin, which cannot be disintegrated. It is insignificant to discuss an object without referring to its class. Okay? Object contains some characteristics and behaviors. Each object belonging to a class contains the entire set of data and functions included in the class. The behavior is used to manipulate the data. So the class is a group of similar type of objects which possesses same attributes and behavior. It also defines the abstract characteristics of an object, including characteristics and behaviors. For example, if we define a class car, then different types of cars like Maruti, Santro, Indica, Nano are referred as objects under that category. So the main class is car and these are the objects. Okay, different types of cars, that is Maruti, Santro, Nano, Indica. These are the objects under the class car. It means that the different types of cars are similar objects belonging to the class car. Class is an object factory. What is called called as a factory? The term factory typically is used for holding similar kind of objects within it. Okay. Here also the class that produces the object of similar type. Class contains objects. All the objects are the same types. Okay. So class produces the objects of similar type. Hence, a class is known as object factory. The next is object is an instance of a class. Why we call object is an instance of a class. In Java language, each object is created from a class. So that object is called as the instance of that class. So whatever object created inside the class that belongs to that class only. So it is called as the instance of that class. Object is called as the instance of that class. Here we are going to see the example of instance of a class. See, one dog is here. It is German Shepherd. So this is an object under the class dog. Dog is a class consisting of many objects. That is, this is German Shepherd, then Pomeranian, then shepherd dog, and so many dogs varieties are there. These are the objects of that coming under the class dog. So this is the example of instance of a class. Okay, we are going to see some differences between the class and object. Class, it is a representation of only an abstraction. Object, it is a real and unique entity having some characteristics and behaviors. Number 2, it is object producer and hence called a blueprint. Blueprint means copy for a set of objects. It is created with the use of new operator. If we want to create an object, we have to use an operator new. New is the keyword, okay? New operator. Then third one, it is known as object factory. Class is called as the object factory because it is producing the same type or similar type of objects with some characteristics and behaviors. This object is also known as instance of a class. Okay, these are the main differences between class and objects. Next basic element of object-oriented programming is encapsulation. Encapsulation in Java is a process of wrapping code and data together into a single unit. See, for example, this is a capsule. So here the methods, variables, the capsule contains so many medicines, capsule which is mixed of several medicines and formed a single unit. We are calling it as a capsule. Like this, a class contains variables and methods and they are wrapping together and form a single unit. That is called as an encapsulation. The next basic element of object-oriented programming is data abstraction. Data abstraction is the process of hiding certain details and showing only the essential features to the user. For example, we will take this car. Car has some essential features, that is, it contains steering, it contains accelerator, it has clutch, brake, gears. So these are the essential features that is present inside the car. So we don't know what is happening inside the engine when we are using the steering, and we don't know what is happening in the accelerator. We are not considering the mechanical or changes or what that is happening inside the machines, but we are using the steering and accelerator. It can help the driver to speed up and speed down. That is only the essential features we are knowing, but what are the changes that is happening inside the machines we don't. So data abstraction is the process of hiding certain details and showing only the essential information to the user. Next basic element is inheritance. First of all, we are going to see what is inheritance. Inheritance is the process of defining a new class based on an existing class by extending its common data members and methods. Inheritance means we are producing a new class. We are defining a new class. We are producing a new class based on some existing class, some class that is already existing by extending its common data members and methods. The aim of inheritance is to produce the reusability of code so that a class is to write only the unique features and rest of the common properties and functionalities can be extended from the other class. So we'll see the example of inheritance. So this is the example of inheritance in Java. The first class, the already exist class is called as the superclass, or it is otherwise called as base class. And another one is the subclass, that is the derived class. Okay, this is the parent class and this is the child class. The parent class name is animal. Animal means every animal, that is tiger, lion, dog, cat, all are animals. All the animals will included in the superclass. That is the parent. The subclass is called dog. Only dog means this dog has extends. The dog extends or takes some properties from this class animal. The dog is also eat. The dog also sleep. Here the subclass contains only dogs, no other animals. Okay, so it is taking some properties from the superclass, that is the parent class. So this is the example of inheritance in Java, that is taking some characteristics from the superclass by the subclass. Okay, it will inherit some properties from the superclass. This is called inheritance. Next basic element is polymorphism. Actually, poly means many and morphism means forms, that is many forms. This term is derived from biology. Polymorphism is the process of using a function for more than one purposes. Okay, when we are developing a function, it can be used for more than one purpose. It allows the use of different internal structure of the object by keeping the same external interface. Last one is dynamic binding. Dynamic binding is the process to link the function call with function signature at runtime. We are using this dynamic binding at the runtime, that is execution time of the code. Okay. Here we are going to see some benefits of advantages of object-oriented programming. Reusability, it means reusing the some facilities rather than building it again and again. Then second one is data redundancy. Third one is code maintenance. Fourth one is security. Fifth one, design benefits. Sixth one, better productivity. Seventh one, easier troubleshooting. Eighth one, polymorphism, flexibility. So these are the details of object-oriented programming language. The first chapter, there is no Java programming, only these definitions are there. That is principles of object-oriented programming, then what is called object, what is called class, and all the definitions, inheritance, polymorphism, data hiding, dynamic binding. These definitions you have to learn, and what is the difference between class and object. These are the commonly asked questions for the board exam. No programs in the first chapter. Here I am going to give you some questions. You try to answer. If you are not able to answer, we will discuss it discussed all the questions and answers in the coming classes. So after this I am going to give you some assignments, that is the question answers. You try to find out the answers and learn. Students, these are the assignment questions. All these questions are repeated board exam questions. So you find out the answers and learn the answer for all these questions. First one is, what is OOP? What is object oriented programming? Question number 2, what are the features of object oriented programming? Question number 3, what are the basic elements of OOP? Question number 4, define the following with an example. First one is object and second one is class. Fifth question, class is called as an object factory. Explain. Sixth question, define the following terms: inheritance, polymorphism. Seventh question, how will you consider mobile phone a real world object? Explain. You write the characteristics of the mobile phone and the behaviors of the mobile phone. Okay. So this is a real world object. Mobile is a real world object. So you have to write the characteristics and behaviors and explain. Okay. Question number 8, what is dynamic binding? You write the definition. Ninth, what is the difference between an object and a class? Already we discussed. Number 10, that is question number 10, mention the steps to create an object of a class. So these all questions are repeated board exam questions. So find out the answer and learn. The first chapter is completed.